Hello everybody and welcome back to another video covering the Wave 4 DLC. This time we're going to talk about all of the characters since we have all 4 profiles for the new students. So with me here is Blue. Say hi.
Hello guys, let's talk about 4 whole characters this time around.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, Blue and I did a tier list series for pre- and post-release characters for Three Houses, and now that we have the DLC, we're going to do these ones too. So this is the pre-release version, and then hopefully we'll do the post-release version at some point. I guess without further ado, I will just go ahead and start us off. So the first character is Yuri.
そういうわけでここを守る上での頼りは俺たちとそしてあんたらの力だけだ。先生、よろしく頼むぜ。思う存分当てにさせてもらうからな。
And he does not have a last name listed, which is odd, but I assume we're going to figure that out at some point during the story. But Yuri is the Ashen Wolves' leader figure. He was a student at the Officers' Academy, but expelled for some reason and relocated to the Abyss. Beneath his crass speech, he is devoted to protecting the denizens of Abyss, although it can be difficult to tell. So, I'm going to go ahead and get this one started off because immediately, and I've already read the other profiles for the characters, but the first thing that stands out to me is Yuri is actually the only one that was listed as a previous student from the Officers' Academy, and that he was expelled. That, to me, stands out as odd. It means that he has some sort of noble lineage, or has some notable feature that got him into the monastery, because we know that nobody gets into the monastery just because. You have to work hard for it. If you're a commoner, you have to be sponsored for it, like Dorothea was, for example. There's got to be some sort of link with nobility, and the profile gives us nothing, the family name gives us nothing. He has a crest that was lost to history, which, again, we got nothing about in the main story. So I don't really know how to feel about this guy. He's kind of just an enigma. What do you think, Blue?
See, I think it's pretty obvious as to why he was expelled, actually. He's one of those type of students who would get expelled or at least put in detention for wearing makeup because it's a quote-unquote distraction.
Or maybe it was because he's a trap.
Honestly, though, I wouldn't be surprised if he was maybe involved in some... like whenever you have these types of characters, like a lot of the time, the reason why they're expelled or something of that sort, like they did something pretty big, like maybe he experimented and like maybe I don't want to necessarily say he might potentially be a member of those who slither in the dark. Possibly might have been doing experimentation of sorts.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, maybe it was some sort of forbidden sort of knowledge. We all know that Seteth would go and hide away stuff in the library that he didn't want people to know, so maybe Yuri was one of those people who was searching a little bit too much, or going outside of the lines of what Rhea would have wanted, and so they just chucked him in Abyss for monitoring purposes. Again, Abyss is really kind of weird because we don't know why it exists.
Well, one thing also of note is the fact that, well, let's just kind of assume that Seteth and Rhea actually do know that these people are here, which I'm pretty sure they do. Why is it that these crests that they have, or that all of these characters have, are considered lost to history, if that is the case? Unless they're trying to hide these people.
Yeah, that's actually a good point as well. I didn't think about that one.
I mean, we don't really have much to, I guess, say about them other than that, because at this point it's all just speculation.
Yeah, it is speculation, but it's interesting that you bring it up because the crests are all children of the goddess, right? And their descendants.
Mm-hmm.
And so Rhea would obviously know who these people are, as well as Seteth, right?
Yeah, well, obviously because he was a student beforehand, but again, I'm under the impression that, because even somebody like Hilda, like from the trailers, knows that this place exists, so I'm pretty certain that even the higher-ups would know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess at this point it's only speculation, we can't really say anything definitive, but it's just interesting the amount of mystery and intrigue around him and the fact that they didn't give him a last name either. Because I don't know where to go with this. Someone in one of the comments mentioned that this is probably Lawrence's brother. I don't know if that's...
I don't think it is.
That's true.
Wouldn't they have, like, similar crests unless, like, both of their parents had completely different crests? And if so, that means one of those parents potentially died if the crest is lost to history. Or he's potentially, like, I don't know, like a bastard child, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good point. We can't really tell. So, I guess just from initial perspectives, where are we ranking Yuri on the tier list?
I don't know where I would put Yuri. Like, I think he looks pretty good, but I mean, it's just elephant in the room. I don't like the makeup. I'm just gonna get that out right now. I don't like the makeup. But otherwise, I think he looks kind of cute. So
it's a tough one, huh?
It's kind of hard because, I mean, I don't know if I necessarily speak for a lot of girls, but I think a lot of us ladies have a tendency to like the bad boy types and everything, because, you know, this guy is a bit of he's kind of the leader of the delinquents, let's just kind of call them that.
Mm-hmm.
But, personally, I prefer the more, lawful evil types for my bad boys. It's like the ones who are evil, but, you know, they still have a sense of duty to do their work.
What
like,
lawful evil? You like Ash. He's not lawful
no,
evil.
I'm saying of the bad boy types that I like, because I have different types, not just Ash.
Okay, acceptable.
At this point, considering that they're all kind of delinquents, that kind of pushes them down for me. I know it's probably kind of harsh to say, especially since we don't really know them all that much, and the fact that we don't know why they're here in the first place. But just going off of their profiles, maybe... I would say maybe friends with benefits.
For Yuri?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me it's like it's in between that or probably girlfriend-boyfriend material. I feel like he's been quite popular with a lot of people, and, you know, understandably so, it's because he's...
Yeah, we could push him up to girlfriend-boyfriend material just because he has the authority, and he is the leader of the group.
Well, it's the authority also, but it's also his appeal to all the genders, right? So...
I guess we can bump him up there.
Yeah, I would probably put him there. Cool. Alright, so next up is Mr. Balthus, or Balthus. I don't know how you pronounce it, but we'll find out soon enough.
こいつはとんだ行幸だぜ。よしお前ら、ぶん殴られてケツ並べるか、おとなしく踏んじばられるか選びな。
悪いな、みんな。心当たりはないんだが、どうやら俺のせいでいかんにも戦闘に突入だ。東方の忍者曰く、石を投げつけられたら石の雨を降らせて返してやれ、だとさ。
ようやくやる気になったがよ。レスターの格闘王の拳、味わってけ。
He is a tough guy from the Alliance, the self-proclaimed Brawler King of Leicester. His daring and careless personality doomed him to a life on the run, thus he had to hide in Abyss. Drawn by his desire to protect the Abyssinians who sheltered him and his fighting instincts, he gives any and all intruders a thorough beatdown. Alright, you're up, Blue. What do you think?
I think I have established already at this point that I am not a huge fan of the big burly guys, but I'm gonna try to be a little bit more neutral with him. I think it's actually pretty cool that he was able to go, like, toe-to-toe with Hilda's brother, who's considered one of, like, the most powerful people in the Alliance. Mm-hmm. So that's a plus. I guess, like, I don't really care for just these types of characters in general, though. So, again, like, daring and careless, that's not really my type, personally.
I think people are gonna love this guy, because he gives off, like, real JoJo-esque vibes, you know, just like the build, the craziness. He's probably super over the top. Just off first impressions, I kind of like him. He does remind me a little bit of Claude. He feels like Muscle Man Claude, if that makes sense. Like, Claude is like mind games and tactical, and this guy's just like physical, but also, like, I don't know what it is. It feels like they have somewhat similar personalities. I don't know if you agree with that.
I mean, maybe because, like, I think you were saying something about how, like, well, I don't want to say that this is going to be, like, a joke of sorts. I feel as though he's going to be treated a little bit more seriously. I mean, outside of maybe conversations with Hilda about her brother, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But yeah. Like, I don't think they're going to go, like, full, like, meme tier with him. So maybe that might be good. Might... maybe boost my opinion of him later, but at this point, again, I don't really like these types of characters.
Yeah, I don't know where they're gonna go with him. I feel like there has to be a reason why he left the Alliance, right? And the reason has to be somewhat compelling. And we do know he seems to be daring and careless, so he's a bit of a hothead. I wonder if he's a noble and he just got in a dispute with some nobles and he had to leave. So he definitely, to me, is quite intriguing, actually. One of the few ones that stand out to me that are like, I want to know a little bit more about this guy. So where are we putting him?
I have no idea, honestly. Again, I'm going to try to be a little bit more neutral with him. Again, just the fact that this guy is that powerful, like, kind of pushes him up a bit. So, I don't know if I would date this guy is the thing. Like, at the very least, one night stand or friends with benefits.
Really? Because this guy feels like, he gives me like the typical hothead boyfriend vibes, who's just like getting into trouble, fighting over the girlfriend all the time.
Why would I want that, though? I mean, maybe
Well,
that might be
do.
something for some people if you're really into that. Like, you want people fighting over you.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I'm tempted to put him in the boyfriend material tier, but I can concede this one and put him in friends with benefits, maybe.
Again, just not really my type, but I know there's plenty of people who like that sort of thing.
Yep. Okay, moving on. The next one we have here is Constance von Nouvelle.
そういえば私としたことが勝ち名乗りを忘れましたわ。仕方がありませんわね。あなたそこで代わりに聞いてくださる？このコンスタンツ・フォン・ヌーベルが先行第一ですわ。満足しましたわ。それでは私アルファルド様と話してこなくては。
A daughter of House Nouvelle, a noble family within the Empire that fell to ruin during a conflict several years ago. Although she now lives in Abyss, she hasn't abandoned her dream of restoring her family and is always hunting for chances to do great things and be acknowledged by the world. Her manner of speech is polite, but it does little to hide her bossy attitude. So, I usually do not like short-haired girls, nor do I like blonde-haired girls. However, Constance's laugh, to me, instant S tier.
It's the most cursed thing
I love it
ever
so
graced
much.
this game.
It's the best thing ever, that laugh. It was just like, as soon as I saw it, I remember I was talking in chat, I was like, yeah, none of these characters interest me, and then on Twitter pops up the video of Constance, and I hear the laugh, and I'm like, you know what, never mind, I take that back, S tier. But to be serious, I guess, it's interesting that we're hearing about someone who's had a family fall to ruin. I can't remember if we've heard of any of those specifically in the main game. They might have mentioned some houses that went extinct or something, but this is someone who has a major crest, and one of those crests that are lost. So I wonder if the conflict is... It says several years ago, so it should be relatively recent before the main storyline. So it'll be interesting. She kind of otherwise reminds me of Lysithea, where it's like this consistent sort of attitude of someone who's trying to prove themselves and giving people that snarky attitude as well. Also the fact that she shares a 60% magic growth and feels like she's going to be a nuke mage as well. So, I don't know. What do you think, Blue?
So, way back in the day when we did the first waifu tier list, I said that I thought that Hilda was gonna be this type of character, and I hate those type of characters, but guess what? Constance decided to prove me wrong, and I don't like this character because of that.
How did she prove you wrong?
Well, Hilda's not the... You know, I mentioned this, where I thought she was gonna have the Ojo-sama laugh thing, but yeah, that's the...
Oh, yeah.
That's what Constance has, so that's not giving me like a good impression of her, at least at first.
Really?
Though I guess, like, if we're gonna just not, or well, like if we look at the rest of her profile, like I think she has the potential to be pretty interesting because of that fact that she is trying to bring, or at least restore her family back to what it used to be. And yeah, I know you were saying that, like, there were some mentions of other houses that kind of fell to ruin. I guess you could make the argument that Mercedes' family kind of sort of did. At least, like, her dad's side of the family.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so, like, once he died, like, their entire house fell. But then they kind of just got taken into other families, so maybe something like that.
Yeah, I think she's going to be interesting, for sure. You can't see my screen, but I put her into S rank already. But
I don't agree with that, but...
I know, I can bring her down, but where would you put her?
I really don't like this character.
We're not putting her below girlfriend material, just saying.
Why?
Because I love the laugh. I'm
It's
sold
so
already.
Cursed.
The next run I do in 3 houses, I'm gonna S rank her.
I don't like this character. I really hope. No, again, like I've said this about other characters in the past before the game came out, so maybe she'll prove me wrong and not be as obnoxious. Maybe it's not going to be as bad in the English version, but
we got proved so wrong for Lawrence.
Yes,
remember
we did.
that?
But the laugh, though,
No, the laugh is great. Come on.
it's so bad.
It's like I'm gonna do my own impression of it. It's like oh
No, it's so cursed. Such a cursed character.
Okay, I can go down 1 tier with her if you really feel.
I will,
that's
at the
wrong.
very least. I'm not letting you put her in S rank.
Fine. I don't think we're gonna have anyone in S rank, but we'll see.
No.
Okay, so the last one up here is Hapi.
君働き始めてまだ数節だって道理で教団の人っぽくないと思った余計なことは言わないって態度もハピ嫌いじゃないしこのまま変わらないといいね先生として年を重ねていってもさ
Who is the opposite of what her name says. She does not look happy at all. And her description is a lackadaisical girl who's unashamedly apathetic. She holds no interest in any affairs. Nonetheless, as a member of the Ashen Wolves, she fights to repel the intruders from Abyss. Apparently, she has a unique constitution, which is the reason she's living in Abyss. Okay, so I'm going to let you go first on this one, Blue, since we talked a little bit about it beforehand.
Yeah, we had discussed a little bit beforehand about what we thought about Happy's character and how, like, there have been some people pointing out that those who slither in the dark have, like, used, or what is that, like, it's not really, like the crest itself, but, like, they have something that bears her crest on it. And it's interesting that they mention that she has a unique constitution, which, if we kind of tie that back into other characters who have been associated with Twisted, like, their constitutions also have been kind of, like, off. Like, but in their case, it's more that, like, they're not necessarily sickly, but they're dying because they've been experimented on, so maybe she herself has been experimented on at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I'm kind of wondering, like I mentioned with Yuri, like, potentially some of these people might be associated with Twisted.
Mm-hmm. So one of the other things I want to say, I'll just clarify what we're talking about, is there were 5 lost crests beforehand that we hadn't seen before. So they were Aubin, Chevalier, Ernest, Noah, and Timotheos. And every one of the characters has one of those crests, except the crest of Noah, I believe. Do we have anyone with Noah?
Actually,
from these
yes,
characters?
it is. That is actually Constance that has Noah.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. I am wrong. But on one of Nemesis's weapons, I believe, there are 2 crests. And they are the crest of Timotheos and the crest of Noah, both on the weapon together. And when we see Talus at the end try and sacrifice his body or do whatever he's doing, there is an inscription on the ground that looks similar but not identical to the crest of Timotheos. And a lot of those who slither in the dark have that in certain iterations on their clothing or around wherever they are. So people are speculating that this is the crest of those who slither in the dark, and they're speculating that Hapi can either be a Garthan or she's one of the descendants of them, which is, I guess, the same thing. So I wonder if that's what they mean, that she has a unique constitution, is that she is not of sort of quote-unquote the same race, even though I guess they're all human in the end, but she's not of the same race as everyone else, in a way.
Well, I want to sort of interject there and say it's kind of odd because considering, like, how, like, dark-skinned she is, in comparison to those who slither in the dark, like, a lot of them are very pale, so that's a bit strange. So that's kind of why I'm saying, like, as opposed to necessarily being related to them, maybe she was experimented on by them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if we look at the people who have darker skin, it's mostly all Myrans. And I think, do people from Brigid have a little bit darker skin? I think
Yeah,
Petra's a little bit
kinda.
darker skinned as well. So, I mean, that's certainly a possibility, but it's not completely out of the realm of possibility that she could be a descendant of them at all. You're right, they are mostly pale, but I mean, people's skin complexion can change if they've been away for a while. Perhaps she ran away from them, she escaped. Although if you've been living in Abyss, you'd probably be pretty pale-skinned as well. So I don't know. I'm just as clueless as everyone else, so if people want to let us know what their theories are in the comments, that would be pretty cool. Other than that, I mean, she's kind of cute. A little bit too depressed for my liking, but maybe not depressed, but it just seems like she...
Just apathetic.
Yeah, apathetic.
I don't think I
know where I
really
would
care
put
for
her.
that either, honestly. Like, just the constant downer attitude, just almost nihilistic kind of outlook.
Well, she's
I
not
don't know.
nihilistic. She just doesn't care. She's kind of like Linhart, I guess, in a way, right? She's kind of female Linhart.
I don't know, maybe.
Although Linhart does have an interest in crest research, so he has that one passion. She is nothing.
At least not that we know of at this point.
Yeah, not that we know of just yet. I'm sure she'll have something, but yeah, I wouldn't even put this one in girlfriend or boyfriend material. Maybe one night
She's
stand.
kind of pretty, at least.
Yeah,
so
she is. No, she definitely is.
I don't know if I'd necessarily be friends with her at this point because of just how, like, downer she is. I don't know, maybe one night stand.
Yeah, I'm kind of hovering between one night stand and friends with benefits. People are gonna hate us for this, but
I mean, that's why we have the part 2.
yeah, exactly. The
so
part
they
2.
can prove us wrong in the DLC.
Oh man, we were so wrong. I mean, we got the Flame Emperor's gender completely wrong in the first version, so so anything can change. You never know. You know, anything can happen. Okay, so when we recorded previously, this character was not out, but we actually have a 5th character that was revealed for the church route, so I guess we're going to have to splice this in. So, the last character that was added here is Alphard.
先生、一つ折り入って頼みがあるのです。ボルフクラッセは学級とは名ばかり、担任を持たぬ元生徒たちの集まりです。そんな彼らを君が教師として導いてやってほしいのです。無論君にも本来の職務があるでしょうし、暇を見てで構いませんので。
And his description is, by the order of the Church of Seros, he supervises Abyss. Saddened about the dreadful state of Abyss, overrun by hunger and crime, he led the people toward law and order. He's calm, benevolent, and has earned the trust of the Abyssinians, or Abyssians, despite their disdain of the church. He was also the one who proposed the creation of the Ashen Wolves. So, Blue, you said you didn't have much to say about him, but I'm going to let you start.
I don't know why, but he seems kind of suspicious to me. Like, I really don't know what it is. Like, the moment it said, like, he was also the one who proposed the creation of the Ashen Wolves, like, I know that doesn't sound like much, but for some reason, like, that gives me, you know, like those people who start, like, the groups up, like, those types of characters that are like, yeah, let's start up, like, this group and everything, but then they turn out to be the bad guy in the end.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't know if that's just me, like, it just seems, like, it might seem like a weird, like, tangent thing, but I'm not sure why, but he gives me some sort of suspicious vibes.
It's definitely weird. Also, if you look at the profile, you notice in the back, he doesn't actually have the banner for the Ashen Wolves. He has something different.
It's kind of
With, like,
hard
a
to
little
see.
crest on it. So, I don't know. He's definitely a church person, but then he seems to be defending the Abyss. So this means that, one, the church is aware that the Abyss exists, and they're definitely keeping tabs on it, and they sent this guy down there to make sure that everything's going fine. But he seems to have gotten attached to them, and probably formed the Ashen Wolves as like an extension of the church for, I guess, students down there to live and survive and grow and learn and stuff like that. So I don't know if he is a bad guy. Maybe he's just like the Jagan archetype of the Ashen Wolves, or the retainer of the Ashen Wolves, so to speak.
Actually, it's interesting that you say, like, yeah, now that you mention it, maybe they did send him down there, but you know what we talked about last time was that, like, if they do know, or at least if the church members do know that they're down here, like, obviously they're hiding things, and the church has been known to try to erase things from history, so who knows, like, maybe I don't want to say like he's necessarily softened his edges to them, like, and may turn against the church potentially.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that maybe he went down to Abyss and he started realizing what the church is and is actually going to turn anti-church.
Also interesting that he wears very dark clothing in comparison to a lot of the other church folk.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, like, Seteth does wear, like, darker clothes, but not black.
Yeah, I think he's an interesting character. I definitely want to know more about him. We were totally in the dark about this guy until legit yesterday, I think it was, or the day before.
Something
I can't remember.
like that.
I think it was Friday. I was on my way home from work, and I'm like, what the hell? We got another one? All right. So, yep, that's Alphard. I don't know if I have much to say. He's not even on the tier list maker, so we're going to have to, like, genetically engineer him into there or whatever. I'll figure it out. I'll put it in. But where are we going to put this guy?
I don't know if we were doing that intentionally or not.
Nope. But yeah, I don't know where we're going to put him.
Neither do I.
I have no idea. I would be tempted to
particularly find him attractive, not really. I don't like his face.
His haircut's also kind of weird.
Also, I don't mind the hair, it's just like the face.
The face looks generic. I think that's what it is.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm tempted to be like probably friend-zoned.
Maybe until we know more about him.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe he's like the dad type or something.
He definitely does seem like the dad type, like the overseer, take care of everyone kind of guy.
I mean, that does kind of maybe boost him up maybe once we learn a little bit more about him, but for now,
Exactly, yeah, exactly. All of these characters, we're going to have to wait to learn more about them to really get the final rankings. This is just like a preconceived tier list, and then we'll see how our opinions change. So yeah, other than that, I think that's pretty much it for the new characters. Do you have anything else you want to add, Blue?
I'm just hoping that the DLC's good and actually worth buying.
Yeah, I mean, we'll know in a couple weeks. I already have it, so
I'm just waiting just to see how good it is, then I'll make my decision.
Yep, that's pretty fair. I feel like a lot of people are going to do that as well. All right, so with that, it looks like we are wrapping up our video. This is one of the quicker ones that we've done, obviously because it's just 4 characters, but thank you for joining me, Blue.
I had a good time, as usual.
Yep, and I will see you all in the next video very soon. Peace.